Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the CrossTalk podcast, the award-nominated CrossTalk podcast. We're gonna win award at these Streamies. As always, it's your award-winning host Noah Eastites with my co-host
Austin Salyer. What's going on? And yes, it's such an honor to be nominated for a Streamy, but I think we're gonna win pretty unequivocally this time. Sekiro won Game of the Year, but we're gonna win Stream of the Year. It's not Stream, freaking Podcast of the Year.
Doesn't even know what we're nominated for.
Are we live right now?
We're live.
Oh snap! All right, we're recording. It's been a while. Last time me and Noah talked, it was a heated debate about Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah, and he was wrong, might I add.
We each had our own opinions, and
see, he's towing the line, but he knows that he was wrong deep down in his heart. But continue.
I do stand by everything that I say, but it might not come. It might not come across now. But me and Noah, we've since crossed that bridge, and we're fine. The debate actually didn't get to its most heated until after the podcast. After we stopped recording, we kept going at it for a couple days later, and it really wear thin really quickly.
Yeah, that's why we haven't recorded in a while, because honestly, we hate each other now.
Yeah.
He's trying to downplay it, but if I see him, I'm gonna throat punch him. To be honest with you.
If I get my $50, you will get that opportunity. Which, by the way, still hasn't happened. If you don't know, a couple podcasts ago, me and Noah said that if someone were to DM me at game-based tweets saying, Austin, I will give you $50. If you do that, I will fly to sunny Warrensburg, Missouri, and I'll visit Noah. We will do a live version of this podcast. We'll vlog my way down there and our journey while I'm down there, and do a full playthrough of Luigi's Mansion 3 in co-op. And so if you want that, it's still on the table for $50. I'm holding out hope.
He's still selling it. He's selling it pretty hard. I like it.
And that's going to be a heated playthrough of Luigi's Mansion 3. That's the only way that I would ever replay that game in my life. Like, honestly. So if you want to see that, we'll record the whole thing. It'll be great. But in all seriousness, the real reason that Noah and I haven't been talking and why we haven't podcasted is, as most of you probably know, as college students.
Real reason? I thought we didn't like each other anymore.
Well, the other reason, I guess.
Oh, okay.
It's a couple reasons stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, that's right.
As some of you, college students know, and even some high school students. High school has finals, I guess, in quotation.
Yeah, but that ain't shit.
Yeah. High school finals, they're nothing compared to at least college finals. But it was finals week this week. And in fact, I just took my last final 2 days ago. And I don't know, when was your last final?
Thursday morning at a crisp 8 o'clock.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
And,
dude, I only got 3 hours of sleep the night before.
Oh, yeah?
So it sucked.
Was it a rigorous study session?
No, I just couldn't sleep.
Oh, dang. But me and Noah, we did it. We both, we passed our classes with flying colors. No,
I'm just kidding.
I'll speak for myself. I did. I ended up clutching it out. All A's for this semester.
Oh, look at him flexing on everybody here.
and it was a really good time. But finals week, it's been on the mind this week. School has been on the mind this week. And I'm actually going from community college back to a university this next semester. I actually went to a university my first semester, but ended up coming back and doing community college for a year. But now it's time for me to go back to the university. I've done most of what I can do at this community college, so I'm going to be going to a new college this semester. And I thought it was a great time, and, we like to talk about stuff other than gaming. It's definitely, it's the CrossTalk podcast, and it doesn't have to be about video games. So we thought we'd try something a little bit different today. And what that is we are going to talk about our top 3 things we wish that we knew going into college at university. Because I believe you went to university your first year of college, right?
Yeah, I just jumped straight in, baby.
Yeah, and so did I. My first year was also at university. So we both kind of had that, I guess, kind of shock of, whoa, because then going back to community college, it's kind of like a little bit more like high school, but a university living down there, the classes are a lot harder. You're expected to be way more independent than you've ever been expected to do. It's a difficult transition, and I know as a high schooler going in, it was nerve-wracking, and I definitely wish there was some things that I would have known then that I do know now. So maybe if there's someone listening who is either, just coming out of high school or they're just going to a college university for the first time, this could be a helpful list, But I want to go ahead and start with you, Noah. So let's go ahead and hear your number 3.
Okay, well, I just came up with the one that was better just right now. And so I went to a small high school. I'm talking like 100 people in my graduating class. I know there's like people that go to smaller schools.
Yeah, I had like 80.
It's a pretty small school. Yeah, well, that's about the same. It's pretty close. It's like 20 people different. But yeah, it was a big shock because I went to. It's a pretty big university. It's not like a huge university, but it's a lot bigger than my graduating class. So that was kind of a culture shock. I didn't realize how different it would be, because everybody in my graduating class knew each other, and then I go off to college and nobody knows anybody. One, because we're in like a new location. Two, there's so many freaking people.
Yeah, it's a little unbelievable just how many people there are. And
like we watched the orientation from the president, and I looked at all the people sitting in the chairs. I'm like, holy shit, this is nuts.
It's crazy because, like you said, nobody knows anybody. If you, like in high school, you get all of your classes with your friends, right?
Yeah.
In college, if you have a class with a friend, that's a freaking miracle.
Yeah. Now, it gets easier, though, in like the later courses now, because I've made friends with people that are in my major.
Yeah.
So we all have like the same classes, so I see them all the time now. And it's almost like being in high school again, but better. I like it better. I hated high school.
Yeah, I wish it sucks that I'm going to a new school because I'm going to have to start fresh again, but it is what it is. And I think to go on your point, so the thing you wish that you knew, just to make sure that we're clear, is just the sheer amount of people that you're going to be seeing. And I think a good way to describe, like, oh, well, why is that relevant? Why is it something you need to know? The good thing about it is there are so many people, and you're seeing so many people every day. You're talking to so many different people every day that nobody cares about anything that you do. No one cares. No one could care less about, and that's so different than the high school environment.
Yeah, everybody knows you, and they care. They make fun of you.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
If you spill ketchup on your shirt one day, you're gonna hear about that, right? For a while, if I get some ketchup on my white shirt, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, Austin got ketchup on his white shirt." But in college, if you're sitting in whatever dining hall that your college has, you drop some ketchup on your shirt, guess what? No one cares. And the thing about it is, even if people do see it, even if they do laugh at it, it's almost like you can just think, well, I'm never going to see these people again. Yeah, we're on the same campus.
You just look them in the eye and you say, fuck you.
There's no consequences. I mean, it's not like you have to have class with them for forever. If they aren't in your class, the freaking classes are so big, I mean, you could just completely ignore each other. Fine. But it's crazy how little people care, and that can be a blessing and a curse, because I'd say that it is, there are definitely some people, especially if you're trying to make friends, it's harder to, I guess, get in there, because there's just so many people who are just there to be there, and they just don't care. But also, I think it is a little easier in the sense that it's just so chill that it doesn't really matter, and it takes away all the stress from freaking high school, which is always nice.
And the work in high school is just like stupid busy work, really.
Yeah. Oh god.
Compared to the stuff you do in college, where it really matters.
Oh
That's the part I hated about high school so much. I'm like, why am I even fucking here?
And you feel like nothing you're doing matters, and
it doesn't really.
I mean,
just about spilled my drink.
Ooh, about spilled some ketchup on your shirt. See, And on the podcast, you hear about that. But in college, you wouldn't. But I guess I'll go ahead and get on to my number 3.
Yeah,
And-
I'm looking forward.
And here's one of the biggest things for me, right? And it was one of the biggest mistakes that I made at my university on my first semester. So
Dun, dun.
I'm a gamer, right?
Oh, I'm freaking nerd.
I like to game throughout the hours of the night. I'm not really an early bird, you would say. I'm more of a stay up till 3 a.m. kind of guy. And,
Same.
because, I'm a gamer. That's what we do. But freaking, here's the thing. And I thought I was smart. No, I didn't think I was smart, but I just thought it would be more convenient. I was like, I'm going to get all evening classes. I'm going to get to sleep in every single day. I won't have to get up till 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock or, depending on the day, whatever. But I will tell you, if there's one mistake that I made, the single biggest mistake that I made in my first year of college was getting all evening classes. It was an absolute nightmare. My classes didn't end till minimum 6 p.m. every single day.
Oof.
And on some days it was 8 p.m. because I would start my day around 12, have another class at like 2 or 3, then have another class at like 6. And it was just horrible because if there's any kind of social event going on or your friends are going out or whatever, you can't go with them. You're in class till 8 o'clock. You and then by the time you get back, it's 9 o'clock. And if you're at all working hard, that's around the time you should probably start studying, and where a lot of people start studying. And it's such a nightmare because getting out of class at 8 and then having a test the next day, sitting down to study from 9 to midnight, it's really bad. And it keeps you completely uninvolved socially from everything. Even if you're not the most social person in the world, which I'm not. It's just, I'm not really going. Some people go to college for the social aspect. That's the main reason they go, right? They go to party, mostly. You're not going to find me at a bunch of parties. If you do, it's because I got drugged there by somebody. Like,
Dude, same.
Yeah, someone's like, "Come on, man, we gotta go," and it's like, "All right," but I'm never actively seeking that out. So it's not like it's like the hugest deal in the world that I don't have that those options. But at the same time, it could go from anything from your friends going out to eat to just anything. Late classes are horrible, and you cannot rest in a college day, and I think you can attest to this, until your day is completely over. Let's say you have 3 classes, right? You get out of your first class at 10 o'clock, and your next class is at 2 o'clock. You're not going to relax between 10 and 2. You're just going to be thinking about that next class, and you can't go anywhere.
I have a lot of fuck around that I do.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So you can relax between those classes.
I usually do. I usually watch YouTube between classes.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, right, when somebody says, like, "Oh, let's go do this," and let's say it's 12 o'clock, you got off your last class at 10, it's 12, you have to be like, freaking, I would, but I don't know if we'll be back by 2, and that's when my next class is, so
Yeah.
I'm going to have to pass. My day's not over, or God forbid you have a test due or something in that class. You're going to have to be, at least looking over it. And then let's say your day ends at 5. That's when your final class ends. Until 5 o'clock, you're going to be just in class mode. But ideally, right, your day ends around 1 to 3 o'clock, I think, on a good college day schedule.
Probably, yeah.
And once that ends, because where my classes would start on like 12 on some days, I would wake up, and my roommate, I would be like, "Hey man, I'm about to head to class," and he'd go, "Oh man, I'm done for the day," and I'd be like, "God, to be done for the day, I have
Then you gotta
3
wake up
classes."
early.
Yeah, you have to wake up early, but you have the rest of the day to do whatever you want. You could take a nap if if sleep is that big of an issue, you can go to class and then come back and take a nap. That is a complete option. But the thing is, the day is yours. You can do what you want with it. You're not hammered down or nailed down by these impending classes.
Yeah, that's true.
If your day ends at 12, from 12 on, that day is yours. You're not obligated to be anywhere anymore. But if your day ends at 6, until 6, you've got to make sure you have a way back before 6 if you're doing anything. So it's horrible, and it is more degrading than you think it would be in terms of studying. Getting off at 8 and then studying for the rest of the night is horrible. But getting off at 12, living your day until about 6, 7, then beginning your studying, that's a lot better mentally. It lets you, disconnect from the last class, lets you take a little breather, really prepare to, start studying. And then you can do it. But getting off class, immediately hitting the book, studying, it's just not the most efficient way of doing it, in my opinion.
Oh, man, that's going to be me next semester.
Or do you have evening classes?
I have one class that ends at 7:15
p.m.?
Yeah. But it's only on Thursday. It's only one day a week.
That's good,
Yeah. It's a 3-hour class, though.
Oh, man. That was how I was with sociology my first semester. It started...
This is... Ugh.
What is it?
Oh, you go ahead. Oh, it's advanced screenwriting.
Advanced screenwriting. Those 3-hour classes are so, just horrible.
I've never had a 3-hour class, so this will be fun.
It's just like, you look at your phone and you're an hour in and you're just like, God, we're not even halfway there. Like, we're a third of the way there. It's awful. But that's all I really have to say about the get early classes thing. I highly recommend you get early classes because that's what people's schedule are, and that's just the earlier your day ends. Don't think about when your day begins. Think about when your day ends because that is the most important thing. If your day ends at 6 o'clock p.m., that's bad because until 6 o'clock p.m., you are tied down by that class. If your day ends at 12 o'clock p.m., that means until 12 o'clock, you're tied down by that class, but for the rest of the day, you're not tied down by anything, and you can really do whatever you want. And it's so important, I think. And if I could tell myself one thing, that might be it going into my first college semester.
That's pretty good advice, I think.
But anyway, let's go ahead for your number 2.
The dorm I lived in, man. Okay, so my most of my family has gone to the college that I went to, and my mom was talking about all the different dorms, and she was like, "Oh, Ellis is usually pretty nice," which is the dorm I lived in my freshman year. Man, I wish I knew how bad Ellis sucked. Okay, Ellis is horrible.
Was it like I guess it was the freshman dorm?
Well, there's a couple of freshman dorms that you can choose from. So, but yeah. But that was one of them, and I should have went with one of the other ones maybe.
Yeah, what was bad about it?
It was so hot all the time. Like I lived on the top floor, so there's like 5 floors, and it was one of the dorms that doesn't have an elevator. Like some of the other ones have elevators, but that one doesn't. So I had to drag all my shit up of 5 flights of stairs and try to fit it into this little room. And then it's always hot, especially because we're on the top floor because warm air rises. So it was hot as shit all the time.
Gee.
And they had the cafeteria downstairs, and it sucked. It was the worst cafeteria in all of the dorms that they offered. And there's this hallway. It's like an infamous hallway / stairwell, and because it connects down to go to where the cafeteria is. And people, I guess because they're dumb freshmen, thought it would be funny where they just throw food and shit all over the the stairwell there. They would always take like ice cream and shit and just throw it on the stairs, and it'd smell horrible because it sat there forever.
Yeah. Knowing where you're living is very important. And it's very easy to just jump in and and just decide I'm going here. But it's probably a good idea to ask around. Most people have some friends who have attended the college that they're going to before.
That was my other problem.
Oh yeah, you did. But your
Yeah,
parents,
I didn't know
Your
anybody.
parents went there, right?
Yeah, but that was like, fuck, they're old.
Yeah, true. But
so this would be like the 80s, early 70s.
Yeah, whether you're asking an advisor or more importantly, like a friend who's actually experienced it recently, it's a good idea to know what you're getting yourself into because I'm assuming community showers, community bathrooms, all that and that.
No, we had our own private bathrooms.
Oh, really?
It was a suite style dorm, so you shared it with your roommate and the people next door.
Yeah, that's how
there were
mine
only
was.
Yeah.
Mine too. But community bathrooms and community showers are a pretty freaking common thing.
I hate that. Yeah, at Maddie's college, that's what they had.
Oh yeah, and that's what I believe I'm gonna have next year. And unfortunately, neither of us have ever lived in that. You ask me a semester from now, but there's definitely you gotta get comfortable in your own skin in those because it sounds like a rough time, but gotta do what you gotta do, especially if the dorm is cheaper.
But now I live in an apartment, and it's way cheaper than the dorm was.
Oh yeah, living in an apartment's probably so nice. Because I'm assuming you
dude.
have like a room to yourself in there.
Yep.
God, that is.
It's really nice. My roommate's pretty nice too. So.
Who'd you get it with?
He's another guy in my major. I met him in one of my classes, and he's like, "Do you need somewhere to live?" And I'm like, "Yes, I want to get off campus." So we both wanted to get off campus. So we're like, "Yeah, let's sign an apartment together." And so we did, and it's been pretty good so far.
Getting an apartment it's almost always cheaper.
It's $2,000 a semester cheaper.
Yeah.
Mine is, at least.
And especially if you're going in with somebody. The more people, the better, because that means the cheaper if you're splitting it. But the problem is a lot of colleges, and this kind of is a little bit less relevant to our discussion right now, because a lot of colleges, your freshman and sophomore year,
they force you to live on campus.
When you're below 60 credit hours, you are forced to live on campus, which is really stupid.
That's so they can fuck your wallet, man.
Yeah, and they also force you to get like the $2,000 meal plan, which is so stupid.
That pisses me off. I hate the food plan. The food sucks. It's so expensive. It's like they way overcharge you on the food.
They do like a 10 meals a day thing. It's like, I'm not going to eat 10 meals a day. Like, who do you think I am?
What the hell?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
I went with the unlimited plan because I was like, it's all the same price.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I went with the unlimited plan, and I just went down and I'd swipe and I'd get drinks and bring them back up to my room.
Mine was literally equivalent to like a high school cafeteria. It was just awful. I used it, but like I would just like go get to the store and get some pizza rolls and heat it up, and that would be like way better than anything they would provide.
I usually just hit up McDonald's or some other fast food restaurant. I'm like, I'm not doing this shit. This is nasty.
Eating out, it becomes a very big thing in college, especially that's one of a lot of what people do, just to go eat with people. The freshman 15 is definitely a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm lucky to have been blessed with amazing metabolism, but dude, I mean, I've gained a decent amount of weight since, I mean, not an incredible amount of weight, but I've definitely gained some weight.
Well, I have a shitty metabolism, and I was already chubby, and then I got the freshman 15. Like, damn.
Yeah, I guess the thing for me was I needed to put on the weight, so it's not like a horrible thing that happened, because I was underweight, borderline, and now I'm at a nice, healthy weight. Like, I'm right in the middle of healthy weight, which is good. And before I was right on the border of underweight, which is bad. So we're looking good now. But I'll go ahead and move on to my number 2. And this applies to most majors, but especially if you're going into I'm a biology major, and especially if you're going into a difficult major like science or any kind of medical thing or engineering or something like that, just something hard. We all know what the hard majors are. And in high school, right, and it's a big difference, I did really well in high school. I was regarded amongst my peers as one of the smarter people in the class, right? If a freaking like idiot jock wanted to cheat off of somebody, they would like come sit next to me. Like, you know, I easily breezed through high school with A's, as I think most people should. It's just not hard. And it's legitimately just about effort. You don't have to. In all high school, some are different. High school, it's not about being smart. It really isn't. You don't have to be smart. It's just about effort. If you put in effort, you can get A's in high school. College, however, you do have to be smart in some occasions, and some people aren't cut out for some majors. But in high school, where I breezed through it, every time I would have a test, right, no matter in what class, I'd look over it the night before and this is on the hardest of tests, like an hour maybe, and then I would just, all right, got it. And then I'd put it down, look over it the next morning throughout the day, take the test, get 100% normally. I normally, do great on the test, easy. And, when I got to college in Bio 111, I tried the same strategy foolishly, right? We had a test, and I said, all right, well, let me just give this a little study real quick. Studied for about, an hour the night before. Said, all right, I think I got it. And then I got a 60 on my first test, which, that's not good. And, I was shocked because I was just like, man, I've never, studied and not done good. And my point here is, and what my number 2 is that you need to, especially if you're in a harder major, study days before, not days, because a lot of this stuff is critical thinking. It's not going to be like in high school when they ask you, what is the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell? It'll be,
oh my God, this man.
It'll be,
he did it.
It'll be like freaking, in the context of this separate thing, how does the mitochondria affect that? And, and if you just learned the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, you don't know that. You need to go deeper. You need to learn everything there is to know about the mitochondria.
About the mitochondria.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly. And that's the difference between a high school test and a college test from my experience. In a high school test, you learn the definition of something, you're good. You're gonna get the question right. But in college, in these classes, all of the questions are critical thinking. They don't ever give you that what is this thing. They'll be like, they'll ask you, they'll give you how it works, what it works with, and just a bunch of all of that, and then you have to determine what it is based on what you know about it. It's all critical thinking, and that was a big shock for me, and it took me a while to adjust to that style of test taking, because it's just weird to relearn how to study, because you're gonna have to, especially those of you who breeze through high school, because if you don't really have to study that much in high school, you will forget how to really study, or maybe you never had to study. And I think that was a big part for me. I never really had to, because it was just so easy. But these things that you have to know everything about, it's like, how do you pace yourself? When do you study? For how long? And that really depends on the person, right? It's depending on who you are, your patterns are going to be different. But I will say, if you didn't study the night before, if you're studying the day of the test, you didn't study. You didn't.
That's me.
Yeah, it's like you didn't study. You're cramming at that point. You're not learning this, and it is a fact that you will retain information more if you study it than fall asleep on it, right? And studying right before it's just a nightmare scenario. And I heard someone say this once, and it was really true. We were leading up to finals, and someone was like, "Oh man, I'm so stressed for these finals," and it was someone said, "Well, there is no stress to be had during these tests because the stress isn't taking it; the stress is now in preparing for it, right?"
Yeah.
Because once you're there, you know what you know, and it's just kind of it's gonna shake out the way that it does. But in preparing is the real stress. Days before, if you're not properly preparing, you should be stressed. You should be thinking, I should be preparing right now. Once you're taking the test, if you don't know it, you don't know it. Well, what are you stressed about? It's like, are you stressed that your guess is going to be wrong? Because if that's what you're stressed about, you're guessing. It doesn't matter. Like, if you get it right, you got lucky. It's like, that's not something to stress about if you don't know. Guessing is just like, I'll take a shot in the dark, So how does this stuff, what I've been saying, relate to you and how you've been studying?
Oh, I don't study. I'm to be honest.
You don't study, period?
No, not really.
Oh man.
I did for one of my finals where the hour before the test, I went through and wrote down all the definitions, and then I remembered them, and I took the test, and I got an A. So,
if it works, man, if it works, I mean, and like I said, different majors are different, right? And
yeah, I already know most of my camera equipment vocabulary because I've been doing it for a long time, so that's probably why I don't really have to study.
And that's a big thing too, and that's a good point that you bring up. And you would think like the later you get, the harder it gets, but really it's the opposite.
Easier.
The first classes are the hardest because as you get into, with you, film, and with me, biology and science, as you get into the more and more classes, things start to repeat themselves. There's not that much stuff to learn. And you
just have to figure out how to apply what you've learned in different ways.
Exactly.
In the context that it needs to be for that particular subject.
And at a certain point, you're just going to be basically repeating stuff that you've already learned about, but maybe you'll be diving a little bit deeper into that thing. But it'll be something that you already have a base knowledge of, which is huge, right? Because it's different than just going in blind and your high school teacher handed you a packet every day and you just don't even know what chemistry is. And, but when you're in a late chemistry class, it's like, oh, well, I've seen this before, I needed to do a refresher on this, make sure I remember it right. But I've done this before in a college class, and I, just do it again. And it's like you said, most of the terms you already knew them because you've taken so many film classes. And so I'll say this to a lot of people. The first year is the hardest. And I know a lot of people, and I saw a lot of people.
Especially gen eds because you don't give a shit.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of people freaking jump off majors in the first semester. They just say, nope, not for me, because I
don't know how you could do that because you haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Yeah, I know. I can name 10 people right now who did that. So many people do it. And I personally didn't have a great first semester. I've talked about, all of the shock that the adjustments that I had to do. If I had that to do over again, I think I could do really well. But, it's if you take something from it, it's a good experience. You learned something from it. And that was my first semester. I didn't do as well as I would hope grades-wise, but I definitely took a lot away from it that is going to help me and has helped me in the future. But let's see. Are we on your number 1 or number 2 now?
Well, we kind of talked about my number 1 already because we talked about food already. So I kind of knocked it out already. So I guess I don't have a number 1 because, you go out to eat or you just don't eat the fucking shitty dining hall food.
Wait, so what about food? What about food do you wish you knew going in?
I just wish I knew how shitty the dining hall food was going to be and how often I had to spend money outside to go get other food.
It's so
because,
bad.
Because, I'm tired of eating the same shit every day.
And it's so bad. It's we can't almost put it into words how bad it is.
Well, they would make these, they're like, let's do something different with this classic recipe. I'm like, how about if we do it the way it's supposed to be and we don't fuck with it?
Just make
and
it
then it'll be
edible.
okay. Dude, I can only eat so many fucking chicken sandwiches before I get tired of them. Because I look at the meal, and I'm like, that looks like shit. So I'm like, guess I'll get a chicken sandwich.
Oh,
and in 3
100%.
months of just eating the chicken sandwich, I don't like chicken sandwiches anymore.
In the dining halls, you're gonna like it's always like you find one thing that's edible, right? The chicken sandwich, it could be like chicken tenders, something simple, and you're like, okay, this is edible. I'm gonna get this every day because everything else is just terrible. I don't know about you. The pizza at my dining hall was disgusting.
It's like cardboard.
Exactly.
And then they slapped the what are they called? Lunchables, the marinara sauce packet. It's like they sprayed that on cardboard and they're like, it's a pizza.
It was like crunchy for me. Like I'd bite into it and it would crunch. And I was like, ugh. Like what? This is not pizza. And it was like there was no sauce on it. It was so bad. It was so bad, man. And the horrible part about this part is, most of the stuff we've said so far is something that if someone were to hear it, they could apply it. But you can't apply this because you're forced to get a meal plan until you're a junior. So whether you like it or not, you're gonna have one. You might as well use it.
I'll tell you what's really disingenuous is when I went on a visit day, that's when they bring out the good food and you're like, hey, this is going to be good. And then you show up and the food is not the same that they had on the showcase day. I'm like, you fuckers lied to me.
Dude,
and you did.
I toured at the school that I'm going to go to next semester. And I walked out and the food, I was just like, oh my God. I was like, am I at Golden Corral right now? Which Golden Corral's not even the best. But I mean, if Golden Corral was the buffet at the school, I mean, that would be the godlike.
Yeah.
But
I could live with that.
Yeah, but legit, I was like looking around like, God, am I like a buffet right now? Like, is this the school diner? I was like, God, like this looks great. And then you go on a normal day and you're like, oh, there's nothing. Like that's
Excuse
really
me, ma'am. What
disappointing.
meat is this?
Yeah, exactly. It's bad, and I wish there was a way to avoid it. If you're a junior going in, I'd say, and I don't know if you agree with, I'd say just don't get one.
I don't have one at all. No.
Yeah.
My family and I go up to Sam's Club once a month, and we just load up my ice chest.
Exactly.
I take it back, and boom. Because I like cooking anyway. I love to cook.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't have one. I'm not getting one this semester because I mean, it's just not worth it. I'll go to Walmart and buy something like that I know I like for cheaper, and.
Yeah, dude, you can get a $2 chicken sandwich at Walmart versus the $3,000 a semester chicken sandwiches that you get at the fucking dining hall.
Yeah, and they overcharge you so much. People say like, "Oh, well, you'll spend $3,000 on food the whole semester anyway." No, you won't. If you're being smart, you won't.
I mean, if you're
if you're eating at freaking Buffalo Wild Wings every single day, then yeah, maybe. But if
I think you could still undercut that cost, dude.
But Buffalo Wild Wings is you're at least spending like $12 there if you're going by yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, there's how many months in a semester? 4 or 5?
Let's see. There's 5, so let's do
7 days.
If you ate there twice every day.
Let's just say you did. How about this? $20 a day for food.
All right. How many days? That's like.
And let's just say there's
days.
30 months. Yeah, 150. You got it.
Times 20. That's $3,000. I could eat at Buffalo Wild Wings every day for the same amount.
Legitimately, for the same price. And how much better is Buffalo Wild Wings? I mean,
and they have more selection than
Yeah.
the goddamn dining hall does. Like you can get a burger at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Exactly.
That's good. You can get different flavors of the chicken, and they got all kinds of other shit. I don't even know what they have. I just go for the wings.
and that's an expensive restaurant too. I mean, it's not insane, but I pointed to that because Buffalo Wild Wings cost a decent amount. And yet, if you ate there twice a day, you could still not pay for that meal plan.
And on Tuesdays, they have buy one, get one free wings.
Yes.
So that would cut the cost down too. Fuck, dude.
It's such a good deal. And so now imagine you're going to McDonald's, dollar menu. Going to Wendy's, get the 4 for $4. Go to Walmart, put some stuff in your fridge if you have one.
Yeah.
You'd save some. People are such liars when they say, well, you're going to spend that much anyway. It's like,
No, they're just shitty at budgeting money.
Yeah.
People do not marry those people. They don't know shit.
I hate it when people say that. It's bad. The food, it's horrible. But guess what? We all have to deal with it at some point because they forced you to do it and there's no good reason for it. It's just legitimately they want an extra $2,000.
Take your money. Yeah.
It's just so bad. Like the fact
They just hold you upside down and shake your money out. And they're
Yeah.
like, "Do you like the food? Do you like it?"
The fact that they get away with that, right? It's like they're forcing you to eat food. It's like, yeah, if you want to pay for their food, you should be able to, but you shouldn't be forced to, especially for that much money. But they just get away with it.
Oh man, I just came up with a. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, you came up with what? I mean, that was all I
I came
to
up
say.
with a better one than food.
Go
I
ahead.
have one last food thing. They had this. I tried it on the last day that I was eating at the dining hall, and I wish that I had tried it before because it was the best thing they had. Was this spinach and artichoke dip? I'm like, there's no way it's gonna be good in the dining hall, but I'm like, oh my god, this is the best spinach artichoke dip I've ever had, and that's the only thing good in the dining hall. So I wish I knew that when I first started.
Yeah, that's the thing. And to those of you who are going to have the dining hall, if you're spending that money, you're obviously going to want to eat there. If you're already spending $3,000, you're not going to want to go out every day because
At least try something new there because you might find something you like.
there's something in there. There will be something. And there's probably going to be 30 options. If you can find one thing that's edible, then you're going to get your money's worth. Well, not get your money's worth, but you'll get something out of it, right?
No, you're going to eat as much as you want, and you're going to get your money's worth from those bastards.
There'd be
Eat them
no
out
way.
of business.
There'd be no way to get your money's worth out of that.
I don't know. I got a lot of sodas from them.
Yeah, that is the thing. You can get drinks just out of the fountain, which is nice. But there's not a lot nice about it. It's a place to go with your friends, though. You know, if you okay, want to go get some food? Yeah, sure. It's terrible, but you know, maybe have a good conversation while you're eating.
Yeah, you can talk about how bad it sucks.
Yeah, talk about how that's a good freaking opener. You know, if you're meeting someone for the first time at the dining hall, first of all, why are you taking them to the dining hall? But you know, that's how you open the conversation. Man, this food sucks.
Yeah, you got to bring out your sexy voice. You're like, so this dining hall food, sucks ass. Am I right? Huh? And you know that date's going to go well.
Oh, 100%. They're going to really appreciate the fact that you brought them there.
You're going to get married right there on the spot.
Probably.
Yeah.
What would you say? Did the majority of people meet their future spouse in college?
I'd say so, either in college or in the workplace.
Yeah, because not in high school, right? I mean, high school sweethearts, like that's
No, don't say that.
you and your girlfriend are high school sweethearts.
Don't you finish that statement because I know where it's going. Don't you finish
Don't
it.
you want to be special? How many people
we are.
from high school
we are special.
who were dating, do you know that are still dating?
I don't really know anybody. Remember anybody from high school?
I can
to be
think
honest.
of one off the top of my head. And that's
But they
not
usually
you.
got married because they got pregnant in high school, though.
Yeah.
I didn't fuck up on that part.
That's rough. That's a rough situation. That's a rough. I know a few people who have been involved in that situation too, and it's a lot of them got married. It's just something that you have to do sometimes. I don't know. It really depends on the situation. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it because it's too personal.
Now there's a specific situation that I want to tell you about after the podcast because I don't want to out anybody. But it's funny.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and just to move on. I'll do my number one.
Okay.
And this is another big thing. This is not obviously for your lower end classes. You don't need to do this for your academic orientation. You don't need to do this for your sociology class. But for your hard classes, your science classes in my case, you need to find a study partner or at least someone that you know and have
cheat off of. No, I'm just kidding.
and someone that you can contact in your class because, like I said before, I'm not an incredibly social person. I don't have to be talking to people constantly. Like, I can go to class, not say a word, leave, and go home for the entire semester and not be fazed by it at all. I won't care. I'll be like, I won't be like, no one's talking to me, or I'll just be like, okay, this is how it is. I don't care. I don't need that. I don't need to talk to people. But in a hard class, in a science class, depending on how high level it is, you need to just on the first day, right out of the gate, whoever's sitting next to you, there's going to be a couple people sitting next to you. Just be like, hey, what if we just exchange Snapchats, exchange numbers, exchange whatever, just so we have each other's info in case something in the future happens and we need to contact each other. You know, like say we get stuck on a question. You know, you can text me, hey, did you get this one? Or, hey, did you get this one? Or, hey, is the test tomorrow? Or is the test, you know, it's always good to have someone that you can ask and confirm things with, because a lot of the times you're up a creek, you're on your own on an island if you don't do that. Let's say going into a test, right, you cannot figure out a certain concept. Who are you going to ask? Yeah, you can go to the tutoring, but it would be nice if you could text someone, right, and just be like, hey, I'm not getting this. Are you getting this? And they'd be like, yeah.
Because they have more context to what you're learning, too, if they're in your class, as opposed to the tutoring. I mean, they've probably taken the class before.
Exactly.
But, you know, it's a little different.
And tutoring programs, they're definitely hit or miss. And in my case, it was pretty bad, the tutoring at my old college.
Yeah, I had one that was bad. The guy, I was having a problem with a math problem. Because I didn't understand it, and he showed me the way, and then he got the answer wrong. He's like, oh, wait a minute, that's not how you do it. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Now I really don't know what I'm doing, because I watched you do this, and then you tell me it's wrong, and now I don't remember how to do it the other way, you fucking prick.
Yeah, dude. I had a very similar experience. At my old college, I went to the tutoring center. I was stuck on something, and there was the tutors would, like, hang out in the tutoring room, right? They would just all be chilling, sitting there laughing, talking, having conversations. And then you would walk in and you would just completely crash their party, because literally it's 5 tutors and you in there. And they're just like, and they're all sitting there, and while they're tutoring you, they continue their conversation and keep laughing and keep talking. And at least in my case, this hopefully isn't how all of them are, but they they were just like, they're like, oh, is that it? It's like, no, I have like 30 more questions I want to ask. It's like, I thought like I could just like get some help here, and it's like legit. I came to them with something. It was a lab that I wasn't quite getting how to form a graph on a certain program. And I went to him and I was like, hey man, I'm not really getting how to put this type of graph into this. And he goes, and he was talking to someone. He's like, yeah man, yeah. Just talking to like 3 of the other tutors who were just chilling in there. And he was just like, yeah, hand me the computer. He just does it for me and gives it back. And he's like, oh, there we go. And I was like, what? And he's like, oh, it's done. Yeah, I did it. And I was like, why did you I didn't even see you do it. I didn't know you were doing it.
I came here for you to show me how to do it, not for you to do it for me.
Yeah.
I could just look the answer up online if that's what I came here for. Like, what the
And then the lab exam is going to come, and I'm just going to fail it. It's like, you did nothing for me here. I'm just going to have to learn this somewhere else. But he just wanted me to leave. He wasn't.
What a dick.
He wanted to continue his conversation, which he did while he was doing it. And, then get me to leave, because they're just chilling in there. It was such a horrible tutoring center. And I will say my first semester, I definitely could have been a better student, right? But I think a large part of my struggle was the tutoring center, and to some fault of my own and to some fault of them, I would say. But it was such a toxic environment there, for sure. And but I don't think all tutoring centers are like this. I hope I don't scare people away from trying it, because
I had a pretty good experience in the actual tutor center.
Oh, yeah?
That I went to. Now, the guy that I was talking about that fucked my problem up was supposed to be... We had this online math class, but you had to go into the lab for 3 hours a week. And they had these... They were supposed to be math teachers, and they would teach you while they were in there or help you.
Uh-huh.
And they didn't do shit.
Oh, yeah.
Really pissed me off. So basically, I taught the whole course to myself because it was online.
Yeah. And that's the rough thing about online classes, especially for like math. Just teaching yourself all this crap is so annoying.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't even know where to start. And I looked at the textbook and I'm like, this does not help.
Yeah. Dude, I had statistics this semester, and I would like legit look at it online. And I would just sometimes for like 2 hours straight sit and look at a problem and just be like, I don't know how to do this. How do I do this? How do I
No,
do
I will
this?
say I do like statistics compared to. I hate algebra.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think algebra was definitely easier than statistics. My math classes I've had so far, I've had algebra, trigonometry, and statistics. Trigonometry was the hardest. Statistics, uh, uh, statistics was the second hardest, and algebra was the easiest out of the three.
I've always had problems with algebra. I've just had shitty algebra teachers.
Oh yeah,
throughout my course time. Yeah, I've never even taken geometry or trig. So
yeah. Trig sucks, man. It really does.
yeah.
And the weird part is, so I had a 90 something in trig, right? But I was really nervous going into the final. But our teacher just straight up was like, "Hey guys, we're not doing a final. I'll just give you guys a 95." And he just gave everybody a 95 on the final without us even taking it.
Holy
I don't know
shit.
what happened to this man, but he was just like, "Hey guys, no final. I'll give you a 95." And we were like, "Okay." Like no one was complaining about that extra 5%. It was just like
Nope.
a guaranteed 95. Like heck, freaking yeah. And so I never had to worry about it again. I to this day don't know what happened.
The guy got caught cheating on his wife. He had to run home real quick. So it was like, "Fuck the final. I gotta go."
Exactly. Like that was legit. Like almost what happened. It was crazy, and I was grateful for it because I was like, God, I'm gonna fail this.
Wait, so did you show up to the
No,
final?
it was like the day before we were supposed to take the final. And he was like, "Guys, we're not doing a final. I'll give you guys 95%." And we were like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, this is the last class." And we were like, "This is the last class?" Is it what? Is like, what do you mean this is the last class? He's like, "You guys, 95. Is that good with you?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right, we'll see you now." Just leave.
Yeah, I had a professor do something like this. She's like, Does anybody in here want to take a midterm? And nobody raised their hand. She's like, "I guess we're not going to take the midterm." I'm like, "Bitch, why would you even ask me?" No, I don't want to take a fucking test.
Yeah, and
What?
the only way that I could see like someone being mad about that is like, he offers a
They're riding the
95, but
line.
like, what if a 96 would have given them an A instead of a B? But I think if they would have just been like, "Hey, can I just get a 96 so I get an A?" He'd be like, "Yeah. Well, I'll just give you guys 100."
He's like, "I don't see why he just didn't give you guys 100."
I guess so it looked better on him, so it wasn't like, "Oh, did all of your students get hundreds on the final? That looks suspicious."
I don't really think that the fucking college really cares that much.
I don't know why I did it. It was a 95 though. I don't know. It was
That's an oddly specific. Well, doesn't it look odd that the whole class got 95s too?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know why I did it, honestly.
That's kind of asinine. I don't
It
know.
was really stupid, and the whole semester was basically for nothing because we didn't have to use any of it. Like, yeah, we took the test before, but like the final is the big boy, and it was worth 20%, and we just all got A's for no reason. And so it was just, it's crazy, man. That was one of the craziest things that's happened to me in college, but I took it. I said, heck yeah.
I wish I could get that lucky.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, that would have sucked for me in my last class because I was in a situation this semester where I had to literally get a 100 on the final to get an A in the class, and I got a 102. So if that would have happened this semester, I would have just completely been screwed.
I would have complained to somebody if that's what happened.
Oh yeah, 100%. You go to like the school on that, and be like, this guy didn't even give us a final. Like you tell him that. Like I would email the teacher and be like, "Hey, give me 100, or I'm gonna go to somebody."
I'm telling.
Yeah, and then he probably would, and I would just not say anything because I'd be like, "Let's go."
That's some blackmail shit there, though.
Yeah,
Dude, if you don't give me a fucking 100 on this test, I will fucking end you.
but at a
okay?
certain
I
point,
will.
if you're doing that, like you deserve to be blackmailed about it. 'Cause you-
I mean, I'm not gonna incriminate. I'm just gonna. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, I took it, right? But I mean, if you're a teacher and you're doing that, like, cool. Like, you're not a very good teacher.
Yeah, no, you suck.
Yeah, but I mean, you're good for the students because you give them all A's, and I don't think anyone's gonna complain about that.
Yeah.
You can get away with giving all your students A's, I think, because who's gonna complain about that?
That one kid in the back. This is unethical.
Yeah, exactly. That's another big thing, but I think that's a pretty common knowledge thing. The professors in college are like wacky. They don't care about like a lot of the time anyway. Your professor won't even know your name especially in the bigger classes. And so
most of my professors know who I am.
Oh yeah, how big are your classes?
I've had some where there's like 100 people and the professor still knows me, and then I got like your normal 20 person classes.
Yeah. And are you like a big asker of questions?
No,
Oh yeah.
I don't say shit.
How do you know your professor then?
I don't know.
They just
know
they
who
know
I
your
am.
name,
They know me. They see me in the hallway and they say hi and they know my name.
but you don't speak to them in the class.
No, hardly. No.
Oh, I mean, you don't know your professor then. That you know that he's your professor and he knows you're his student. But it's not like a high school relationship with your teacher.
I get like comments on my grades, so they do know who I am.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's weird. I don't know.
There's always that certain group that stays after class and asks the teacher like 100 questions. And I'm normally in that group, to be honest.
Also, we make projects and stuff too, so they know my projects.
Yeah,
they're pretty good.
Oh yeah.
So fuck the other kids in my class. No, I'm just kidding. I like you guys.
You stick out. But yeah, the teachers always know that group that always stays after class and asks the questions. Yeah. And I'm like kind of in the middle, right? I won't stay after every class. Like I'm not like freaking out all the time. But if there's something I don't know, I'll be like, I'll stay back and be like, hey, I'm not getting this. But like, I'm not doing it every day. But they'll really know the people who ask questions a ton. Mm-hmm. Are you? I think you just said, but you're not one of those people who are constantly like involved in the lecture. Like you're not constantly answering the questions.
It depends. Like if it's my major class, I don't do it like every class period, but every once in a while I'll be like, I'm flex on you bitches.
Exactly.
I know what that is. But like if it's a gen ed class, it's like a ghost. I'm like not even there.
Exactly. Like legitimately, my thing with questions is I never am the first one to answer a question. But if nobody else answers it and nobody else knows it and I do know it, I'll flex on them and I'll be like, oh, I know that. And then they'll be like,
oh, I know that. Yeah. You fucking simple. You get that big high and mighty. You fucking simpletons.
They're like, what?
You like sit back in your chair. That was easy. What are you fucking like dumb people? Come on.
Freaking like the people who answer like all the obvious questions, like they'll just be like, what is this obvious thing? They're like, this. It's like, all right, why are you so eager to answer these questions?
That's why you're in the back. When you're in the back, you're like, kiss ass.
Yeah. Well, where do you normally sit? I think that's a good way to. That's a good topic here.
Well, in my classes recently, there's not really a front of the room because it's like a U. But usually, if I have like a lecture class where there's a lot of people, I'll sit towards the front. If it's a class I'm like want to be engaged in.
Are you a front rower? Like, are you?
No, I'm not a front rower. Yeah, I ain't about that shit.
Yeah,
I usually do like third row, so I'm still like pretty close. I can see.
Yeah,
but I will never sit in the front fucking row.
I'm the same way, and I'll tell you, I used to be a back rower when I first started, but you meet some degenerates back there. There's some you want some decently smart people next to you. And a big thing,
I only sit in the back in the gen ed classes.
Yeah,
I just don't give a fuck.
A big thing is, and it's more important than you might think, surrounding yourself with smart people helps so much. Because if you're surrounded by idiots, anything you don't get, you're just not gonna get it, because you can't just be like, hey, are you getting this? And then there's, well, dude, I don't even know what's going on, man. It's like,
dude, what fucking class is this? I've been high for 3 days.
Exactly.
I don't know.
And that's what you're gonna find in the back of the room, right? I think I'm the same way as you. The front of the room is a little too intimidating for me.
Kiss ass. It's not intimidating. I just don't want to be with the kiss ass.
See,
because they're the ones that raise their hands. Like, oh, I know. Pick me. Pick me.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with you on that. And I think that is a big reason. But I think it's intimidating in the sense that these are the tryhards. These are the I am locked in. I'm getting a 100% in this class. I'm dead focused. Do not look at me, because I'm in this. This is what I'm doing. And like, I don't want to sit with the tryhards, the people who are just too into it. And, like you said, they're so eager to answer the questions. Like, ooh, me. And it's like,
they like fly out of their chair. Pick me.
Yeah. And it's just like, calm down. I'm not a front rower. This is not where I belong. But I'll tell you, the second row and the third row are pretty freaking lit.
That's where it's lit, yeah.
Because you find the smart people who are also a little more laid back. There's kind of, they're like us. They kind of understand, I'm not a front rower, but
I feel
I'm
like
not going to sit in the back.
That's the true high level intelligence people is the
Yeah.
laid back ones. I think that the ones that sit in the front row and are eager like that aren't as smart, and they're trying to make up for it, and that's why they act the way that they do.
Yeah, I think yeah, exactly. Like the first rowers, like they're putting in such an extreme, unnecessary amount of effort because maybe they're not as smart, right? And the only way they do as well as they do is by putting in that much effort. But the third rowers, like we're chilling, like we're smart enough where we put in an effort, but we don't have to go hard. Like these
We're the
guys.
intelligent degenerates.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
what I believe.
I'm telling you that. So I think the third row is like the spot, because the second row, you might get a couple people who showed up late the first day who wanted to be in the first row, but there weren't any seats left, who kind of filtered their way down to the second row. But the third row, depending on how many rows there are and how long your rows are, of course.
Yeah.
But the third row is where it's at because they're.
I'm thinking of more like the big lecture setting, like
Well,
where
yeah,
there's a lot
if
of
it's
rows.
if the rows are huge, I think second row is the way to go.
Yeah.
Very rarely, I think, do you want to be a first rower.
No.
And there's nothing wrong with being in the first row, I guess, but like,
Yes, there is.
there's a
Don't
certain
lie.
type of person, and I think you agree with me with this. There's a certain kind of person who sits in the front row.
It just doesn't mesh with my personality, man.
Exactly. And there's a certain kind of person who sits in the back row. And it's the
They don't
person
mess with my personality.
who
either.
wants to sit on their phone the whole time and not get caught. That is a back rower. They want to just sit on their phone, look at it the whole time, and not get caught. That's why you're in the back row, because the professor can't see you doing whatever you're doing. And at that point,
This is why we need to segregate the rows, folks. Okay?
Exactly.
We got to segregate them. It's the only way.
yeah, we're really judging the rows right now. But at that point, why are you there? If you're a back rower, why are you there? Why are you there? And as you move up, it becomes a little bit more and more try hardy. The middle's a good spot. Whatever the middle is in your class, that is a good spot. Front row. What would you say? Would you rather sit in the front row or the back row?
If I had a choice between that, I'd rather sit in the front row because I could engage with the professor a little bit easier.
Yeah. I feel like I'm more of a back rower than I am a front rower, to be honest with
But
you.
even if I sat in the front row, my hand is not going up.
I've sat in the back row before, but I've never
I have
sat
two
in the front
in
row.
a gen ed class. See, that's the specification I wanted. I'll sit in the back in a gen ed class, but if it's one of my major classes, I'm not sitting in the back.
Yeah, it's weird. Because see, that almost makes me say I would lean more towards back, because I have made the decision before. I'm gonna sit in the back row, but I've never made the decision I'm gonna sit in the front row, and so maybe I slightly lean more back, but I sit closer to the front normally.
Yeah,
Third row, man. I'm a third rower.
that dude. I think if we knew each other in real life, I think we would be best friends.
Okay, we
IRL.
just get it. Like, we're on the same wavelength here. We'd
be hanging out all the time,
dude, we would get in a college class together, and we would sit next to each other in the third row, and I would
right in the middle of the
yeah,
third row.
like we
too.
would
That's like
know
the
exactly
cream of the crop.
where we need to go. We would look at the rows. We'd be like, no, not the first row, second row, third row. All right, and then I would do my thing, right? I would be like, hey man, let's just get some college. Let's just give me your Snapchat or something, just so we have someone who we can go back and forth with, and then that would blossom a great friendship of the third rowers. You become friends with someone from your college class when their name becomes like, see, in this scenario, I would put you in my phone as like Noah from Anatomy. But the day you just become Noah in my phone is the day we're truly friends. Like when you're no longer Noah from Anatomy and I just put Noah Stites, that's when you've moved up in the world. And
Oh my god, he doxed me. I'm just kidding.
and for a lot of people, that never happens. You just delete them after the semester. You were a valuable resource to me, but this friendship is over.
Wow, dude, you sound like a psychopath. This relationship was transactional. You are no longer of value. Therefore, you are garbage.
That's the thing, right? And here's another thing to say about this. When you offer someone, when you ask for their contact information, this is supposed to be a mutually beneficial source of having each other's phone number. They should be able to text you and ask you stuff, and you should be able to help them just as much as you should be able to text them and ask stuff. You're not agreeing to a, hey, you help me. It's a, hey, we help each other, right? And so I don't want people to get it twisted. You're not just getting a freaking slave to just help you constantly. You're not hiring a tutor. You're helping out each other by having a source to go to in your classroom, which is it's important. I truly think that it really is, and it could have saved me in a lot of scenarios before I started doing it, and it has saved me in scenarios after I've started doing it. I wish, I mean, if I could go back and tell my prior self to do that, I definitely would. And it is hard to do because, you know, especially as someone who's a little more socially awkward, you know, it's hard to just be like, hey, man, or hey, if it's a girl, just be, hey, can I just get your phone number? Just immediately after meeting them. But I'll tell you, it really establishes a connection between you guys a lot of the time. And it's just someone you can talk to when you get in the class. You know, you sit down, you go, hey, how you doing? It's like, you can now, as this person, you know, you have each other's phone number. You can talk to each other when you get in class, and that's kind of gives you a person to bounce things off of, you know, say hi to when you enter the classroom. Because ideally, you don't want to walk into the class and just sit down and not say anything. It's nice to have a person just to be, hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? It's like, what you been up to before class starts, you know? It just makes it more chill. And asking for the phone number, it's a great icebreaker. I really think it is. It's a great just way of starting off a conversation. Hey, can I get your number? I always do this. I always want to have somebody. And, they say yes. Then you just say, oh, what are you majoring in? And then, you become friends, at least classroom friends.
And if they say no, you look them deep in the eyes and you say fuck.
Yeah, if they say no, you're just like, okay. And then you turn around and you say it to the other person. And you say, in a lot of situations, you would want to get a couple people. If that's normal what I like to do, the person to my left, person to my right, just be like, hey, can I get you guys' phone numbers? And then just to have a couple people because there is a decent chance that one of them won't be very reliable because that's just how it works, especially if you're in the back row. If you're in the back row, just don't bother. Don't bother getting their number because they'll leech off of you. It won't be a mutually beneficial. This only applies to third row and up. Maybe fourth row. Maybe fourth row.
Yeah, I'd say fourth row and up is S tier.
The thing about the first row is if you exchange phone numbers, you'll be able to give them nothing because they already know everything. So it's like it's not mutually beneficial at that point.
Yeah, so you're the leech.
Yeah, you're the leech at that point. So you can't do it. That's why you can't sit in the first row.
No, that's acceptable, I think.
What, to be a leech?
Yeah, it's all right.
I mean,
only if you're me. I mean,
if you're
nobody else. See, that's why the scenario doesn't work for you guys because you're not me.
It depends on who the first rower you're getting is, right? If there's someone who's super down to help, or they're just looking for a friend, some people would be happy to help you, even if they're not. And if they're a first rower, they're at least trying hard.
If they're Stephen Hawking like tier first rowers, you leech off the motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, if you can. Sure. I mean, don't annoy them to death, but
see, now I've dragged Austin down with me. At first he's like, "No, don't be the leech," and now he's like,
"Well, I'm
right.
saying if someone smarter than you is willing to help you, don't pass it up. I mean, you don't. Even if they are smarter than you, you're not providing them anything. If they want to help,
that might be hard to find. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely. I mean, you might want to sit in the first row if you want to find that kind of person.
I'm going to have to get the professor's number, you know what I'm saying?
Freaking, I don't know. Second row is fine too, I think. I could coexist in the second row. Definitely. I would make it out
Second
fine.
and third row is best tier. Dude, we're going to have to make like a
rows in the classroom
seat row tier list.
How many rows are there? Let's just do this just off the top of our head right now. How many rows would you say there is in the average classroom?
In the average classroom, let's say 6.
6? All right.
Because we're talking average classroom.
Okay, so we're going to put 6 in degenerate tier. If you're in row 6, you are clearly not there to learn primarily, right?
Yeah.
And if you're sitting in row 6, you're trying to Look at your phone the whole time. Or
I think row number 5 would be a mixed bag.
yeah, I agree. Because it's not quite in the back.
Yeah, they're like the ones that wanted to sit in row 3 or 4 and they ran out of seats, so they sat back there. And then the ones that showed up super late. So maybe the 4th or the 5th row is the worst row because they're the ones that showed up so late that they can't even sit in the back anymore.
It's kind of like the reverse of the people, the first row and the second rowers, right? Because the second rowers, there might be a first rower who wanted to sit in the first row but couldn't find room, so they're going to kind of blend into the second row. The same thing applies in the reverse too, right?
Holy shit, dude! This is so. I didn't realize this was gonna get that.
Yeah.
But now we gotta.
There's
a lot of shit going on in this.
So the back rowers will kind of filter into the 5th row too. So where the second row is kind of a continuation of the first row with a mixed bag, as you said, the 5th row is kind of a mixed bag between people who couldn't quite find a seat in the 3rd and 4th row and people who wanted the back row. And you know, and so that I agree, 5th is definitely a mixed bag. So we'll put 5th in, I guess the tier above back. Because
and 4th is the bottom tier.
4th is bottom.
Yeah.
Well, why do you say that?
The 4th. Wait, no, 5th row. I'm sorry, I got confused. 6th row is the last row, and then 5th is the worst one.
Yeah, 5th. You think 5th is worse than being in the back?
I do, yeah. Because they're the ones that show up so late that there isn't any room in the back anymore, so they have to sit in the row before the final back.
I agree with you. I was about to disagree with you, but after you just said that, I agree now. Because
they're such degenerates, they couldn't even show up to class on time.
And I think there are some people who sit in the back who are just antisocial and just really don't want to talk to anybody. So they just get.
But they're still engaged in the class.
Yeah, but they're still somewhat engaged in the class. No one's antisocial going to the 5th row. And, you know, if you're stuck in the 5th row, you probably showed up late. Because that's kind of like the Twilight Zone, purgatory. No one's choosing the 5th row, right? You get stuck in the 5th row. Because it's not close to the front. It's not the back row. Who's picking the 5th row? Who's going into it being like, I'm a 5th rower? You know, that's me.
You've been sentenced to the 5th row.
Exactly. No! That means you were late. And if you were late, then you're in that mixed bag. Maybe you were just late and you're still going to be engaged. Or maybe you were just late and you wanted the back, but there's no more seats in the back.
But the percentage of degenerates is probably higher in the 5th row compared to the 6th row.
Because those are the people who are like showing up in the middle of class.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm 30 minutes late. I didn't know we were having class today.
All right. So what would you say about the 4th row? 4th is where we're starting to get good, I think.
Yeah. I'd say they're like the C tier. They'd probably be like your average of the mill kind of person.
Yeah, I think 4th is I think 3rd and 4th they're pretty similar in a way, because they're gonna be pretty laid back people who aren't incredibly going super hard, but who are also engaged in the class.
Yeah.
My question is there a difference between the 4th and 3rd row?
I think the 4th row people are a little bit less engaged than the people in the 3rd row.
Yeah.
Just slightly.
Because the 3rd...
I mean, it's not that much of a difference. It's just a hair of a difference.
Because, yeah, I agree. Because to me, 3rd is still front of the class. You got the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd row. Those are the front people in the class. Like, those are really who are present and there. Once you get to 4th, you're kind of falling back a little bit. You're definitely
the shadow of purgatory is on your back.
Exactly.
But it's not on you.
You have the 5th rowers breathing down your neck. Those degenerates breathing on you, looking at you. Their knees in your back. How can you properly look at this class as a 4th rower with those degenerates breathing down your neck? So for that reason alone, 4th row is gonna be, what would you say, tier above 6? Definitely not as bad as the last row. Yeah,
they're your average kind of.
Your average Joes, like they're not engaged, but they're not super engaged. Mm-hmm. And as we've discussed, I think 3rd row is the place to be. I really think 3rd row that's the spot. You're gonna find people like me and Noah in the third row.
Everybody's like, shit, we got to stay out of the third row.
Yeah, maybe this is a sign to not go to the third row. But these are people who I think you're going for an A in the class if you're in the third row. You're not going for a B. An A is what you're going for. But you're a little bit more laid back. You're a little bit more socially awkward. You're not going to be asking questions constantly. You're not going to be incredibly engaged in this class. And you're going to be chill. You're down for a conversation. You're not absolutely here to be locked in and focused and just nothing but business. You're chilling a little bit, but you're also like, hey, I'm getting an A in this class. So there's a time for chilling and there's a time for looking. And third row is a spot. You have a row, you have a shield between you and the fifth rowers, which is always nice. Like they're not getting to you. They couldn't get to you if they wanted to.
And you have a shield between the first rowers.
Yeah.
The overly pretentious.
And they're not gonna be able to turn around to you like you say on your hey man, I'm not getting this, and then they turn around. Well, actually, I was asking somebody else.
Because then you got to smack them.
Yeah, it's like and so yeah, third row's a spot to be. Third row's S tier.
S tier.
We like the third row, and then I think second row is almost just as good.
It's A tier.
Yeah, in certain classrooms, like we said, the second row is the third row, depending on how long your rows are. If there are 30 people in your first row, you're a second rower. You're not going to be the 90th person back.
Yeah, no.
If there are 10 people in your first row, you're a third rower. If there are, 20 in your first row, maybe you're a second rower. The second row is like right there with the third row, but there are going to be some first rowers who dip down into it. And I'll say this. You'd rather sit next to a first rower than a sixth rower, no doubt.
That's right.
No doubt.
No, a fifth rower.
Yeah, sixth or a fifth rower, right?
Yeah.
If you want someone to filter into your spot, and it's a first rower, yeah, they might be very pretentious. They might be locked in, but they're gonna know what they're talking about. So
so you can leech off of them.
Exactly. If you're stuck on something, and you're like, hey man, I'm not getting this. They're gonna let you know, and they're gonna be like, man,
well, actually, no.
It's actually a simple concept. You should have known this at the beginning of the semester. But they're gonna tell you, right? You're gonna know, and they're gonna provide something to you. Whereas the sixth rower, you're just gonna have to think, man, you can't be vaping in the class. They're gonna see that smoke and think it was me. And at that point, like, you're too far gone. You're too far away from the board.
Yeah, them six rowers. Man, I've been on peyote all day, dude. I don't even know what's going on. Is this a real class?
Exactly. Yeah. The fifth rowers, they are just they were too high to show up on time. And first row, that's C tier. Yeah. You're still, if you're in the first row, you're gonna do better than me in life, because you're in. You're locked in.
Maybe, unless they get on people's nerves. That's the thing.
But the thing I respect about first rowers is they're better than you, and they know it. I am at the front of this classroom. I will be answering these questions because I will know this question better than you know it.
But they're also the ones that don't know the deep information. They know they're the ones that go after the easy questions.
Yeah, when you get a hard one that stumps people, it's going to be a third rower who's going to raise his hand and get
they're
that.
They're going
to
go, look at this shit, bitch, about the flex.
Exactly.
Call me rice gum, baby.
And, but I respect the work ethic of the first rowers, because if you're in the first row and you don't get an A, move down a row because you don't belong there.
No, you need to go in back to the sixth row with you.
Yeah, see, I think in the third row, right, there's chances for some B's to fall in there. Like, the third rowers are laid back enough where they could slip up enough to get a B. It certainly happened. But a first rower, if you're that locked in, you better get an A, or else you're in the wrong major.
You better get an S on that report card.
Yeah.
I don't want no A's.
So I respect the first rowers a lot, but it's not me. You're not gonna find me in the first row.
See, I think Austin has more respect for the first rowers than I do.
You respect them less.
I don't have any. No.
So you think they're just pretentious? You just don't like them.
Yeah.
But they're driven, right? You'd rather them be driven than just be smoking weed and showing up late.
Well, I mean, that's their life. I don't really care.
Yeah, but someone who comes to college and parties and shows up late and doesn't pay
But-
attention, I don't respect that because they're probably either their parents are paying for it or they've taken out a loan, and I don't. And you're
true.
wasting your money. These people in the front row, they're not wasting their time. They're here to get it done. They are grateful for the opportunity, and I'm not wasting it. I am gonna be as
Now-
focused as humanly possible, and I respect
Now
that.
the third
more.
rowers have your pot smokers that are smart. See,
Exactly.
There's two kinds. Now we're getting into the tiers of weed smoke.
I agree completely. You could find the third rowers could smoke some weed together and be totally cool with that. You're not smoking.
Not that
weed.
I have.
You're not smoking weed with your first row. If you even suggest the idea of smoking weed to a first rower, they're gonna be like, "You smoke weed?" You know.
The devil's lettuce.
But a third rower is gonna be, yeah, man. You know, I'm not showing up to class high. I would never do that. But I mean, you know.
But if you want to meet me out back after class, I'll take a couple
you
puffs.
staying for the weekend? You know, third rowers they can get down with it. You know, it's like, you know, they're more just people, I guess. They're
Yeah.
they're
They're not machines.
exactly. They're chilling. You're chilling.
You can throw back a couple of Mike's Hard Lemonades and have a good time.
You'll find some sodas in the third row. You know, sometimes people will bring a soda with them to the.
I don't ever not come to class without a crisp Code Red. I gotta
See,
say.
and you're a third rower. I mean, you know, like you'll just have a soda, you'll pop it open, just drink it in the middle of class, like.
Now, to be not disrespectful, I open it before we go into class.
Oh yeah, and freaking, you know, in the first row, you're not seeing anything except waters. You know, they're.
Yeah, dude. What? We know this shit too well.
But
They got their little metal water bottle. They're
yes,
like, oh, I got it for Christmas.
yes,
and I'm like,
dude,
yeah, okay.
that water bottle. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But dude, in the fifth and sixth row, they're cracking open a bag of chips back there, and they're eating some shit. They're eating in the middle of class. They're like, yeah, man,
Or
we're having a
they
little
go
snack.
to Panera or whatever
Yes,
before,
dude.
and they're like, yeah, man, I didn't have lunch.
Dude, I saw some six
It's 2
rowers.
o'clock.
They'd like bring Chick-fil-A with them every day and like eat. And I'm like, dude, you're taking notes. Like, you're not eating Chick-fil-A right now. It's like they just bring it every day. Just eat some Chick-fil-A during the lecture.
Not only are they making noise, but I can smell
Exactly.
the food. I'm like, shit, man, now I can't focus because I'm
I
hungry.
mean, they don't care. They're just there for the attendance grade. They're not there to focus.
Yeah.
I mean, it give them something to do. Eat some Chick-fil-A. But I mean, if someone pulled out some Chick-fil-A in the first row, everyone would be like, "What are you doing? Like, you can't just
God
do
would
that."
come down and smite the world.
Yeah, you would just be banished from the first row. Like,
Dude, it says that shit in the Ten Commandments. It's like, thou shalt not sit in the first
Thou
row
shalt
and eat Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A in the first row. I mean, and you know, in the third row, it's possible that someone could eat some Chick-fil-A in the third row, I guess, but like, I don't know. It would be weird if someone were to.
It's like stealthy eating.
Yeah, exactly. So the most
Now,
you'll see.
sixth row, unapologetically munching on that fucking
Yeah,
sandwich.
and like I said, in the sixth row, you're pulling out a bag of chips once in a while, right? Like they'll just be, and you're just like, man, that's loud. Like I'm trying to hear, and you know that's the problem with being a fifth rower. You got that breathing down your neck, so it's where you don't want to be. Well, we said it. Fifth row is even worse. But yeah, third row. I think you know you could see a third rower maybe bringing with them like a candy bar, like a little tiny candy bar. You know, just snack on a little bit while they're taking
or
it.
like a Cliff Bar. you know?
Exactly, yeah. There's a little something to snack on, just to keep, especially if it's a long class, just to keep them going, you know. And you know, like I said, you know, they're rowers. You know, you'll find some sodas. Like they'll have a Dr. Pepper sitting there. They'll be drinking on it during it. Like they're just chilling. Like you're doing this. You know, I'm taking notes. I'm focusing, but I'm also gonna enjoy this nice cold Dr. Pepper while I'm doing it. You know, but the first rowers, you know, if they don't have their water bottles filled to the
Hashtag my
brim,
body is a temple.
yeah, they're not doing it. You know, soda it destroys your body. How could you do that? It's not the optimal strategy. You know, but a third rower is gonna be like, man, but it's good. Like, yeah, it's bad for you. God, it's good. You know, and that's the difference. Therein lies the difference between a first and a third rower. And then the sixth rower is eating Chick-fil-A back there.
Man, I think we banged that tier list out pretty
We
well.
did, and you know, I think the food tier—that's a phenomenal analogy that we just used. Just the what kinds of food do each row eat, or you know, what do they eat and drink during class? First, like, I think that's beautiful. Like, and it was so perfect too. And because we all know those people who bring the full meals, and we all know what the water bottles we're talking about. And
yeah, and they're all getting set up with their little fucking shit, and they're like, okay.
And and we've all brought ourselves a nice Dr. Pepper to the class once in a while.
Well, I'm not Dr. Pepper, but I'm on the same.
Yeah,
I'm on a
we're
similar
on
train.
the same wavelength. And I think that's a great spot to end this. I like that last bit a lot. That tier list was really fun.
I just came up with that on the spot.
Yeah, and we banged that out. We really did. Just bam, 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 bam,
I
bam.
think that's why we are a Streamy nominated podcast.
Exactly, and I think that will win us the award. And I'm interested to see what people could we offend somebody with that? You think could someone be like, I sit in the first row?
Dude, you could get offended by fucking anything.
Yeah,
this is the internet.
And I guess we can just say that, right? Just because you're a sixth rower or a first rower, you might not fall into these stereotypes. These are just
but you actually do.
Yeah, you might just not know you fall into these stereotypes. Maybe take a look in the mirror.
We've just opened your third eye for you. I hope it wasn't too painful.
Well, now you know how people perceive you, at least. When I see you sit down in the first row, whether you are or not, I'm like, first rower.
I'm thinking, wow, look at this vitamin water drinking motherfucker.
Exactly. And then you pull out your water bottle, pop open the lid, take a big drink. I'm looking. I'm like, yeah, you would be sitting in the first row, wouldn't you? You would be. and this is largely a joke. We're not judging people that hard in their day-to-day life. We're not thinking about it. But it's fun to, talk about the different types of stereotypes of students depending on where they sit in the classroom.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I think that's it for this week's edition of the CrossTalk podcast. I like this one. It was different. We talked about life.
It was good. I really enjoyed this. It felt good.
Yeah, and I guess with that, we will see you in the next one.
Remember to tune in next week with our surprise interview with Jeffrey Epstein. We'll see you
what?
guys next week. What? You don't remember? Dude, I sent you a message that Jeffrey Epstein was going to be on the podcast.
Oh, my God.
Do you not remember? Dude, I made a deal with the fucking devil to bring him back, and you don't remember that we're going to have him on the podcast?
We'll ask him what row he said in college.